Terrific Thursday, everyone. This is Furley Almonte, your host for Faces of Resilience. My goodness, this is the Top Talent JV event edition, and I could not be more thrilled to bring the most incredible human beings and entrepreneurs to this show. And through Top Talent, I actually met one of the most remarkable entrepreneurs that actually has shaped the industry in so many different ways for speakers. He is a celebrity podcast host, and he is also the creator and the founder of Up Your Game Motivational Speaking, right? Am I saying that correctly? And also, let me tell you something. I have to read his bio because you will be very, very impressed. When David Fagan from Top Talent said that I need to connect with Eli Marcus, I wondered why he was so excited to meet this incredible human being. And when I read up about him, you will be too. Let me just give you a few highlights. Eli Marcus is the professional up your game motivational speaker. He speaks to companies, organizations, sales teams on mindset for winning, how to best connect with people, and how to sell like a top pro. You know, nowadays we are going through a pandemic right now, and how do you stay connected, relevant, and still profitable during a time like this? And he is going to share the secret. He is also the host of the Motivation Show podcast, rated as, listen to this, top 1% of podcasts in the world. That is remarkable. And he also interviews famous motivational speakers, celebrities, New York Times best-selling authors. And just to also brag to you about this, he has worked with many best-selling authors and experts, and they include, guess what? The late Michael Jackson, Mark Victor Hansen, Ianla Vincent, Davy Jones, Les Brown, Don Miguel Ruiz, Judy Collins, and many, many more. And that could be you. So if you are looking to uplevel your brand, be visible, oh my goodness, I could not think of a more phenomenal human being. And so it is my great honor and privilege to have you on the show, Eli Marcus. I believe you're still muted, my dear.
That was an incredible introduction. And boy, do I have a lot to live up to. And you know something? I'm up to the challenge. It's good to live up to a high billing. So let's rock and roll.
Woohoo! I love the energy already. See, now I understand why, David Fagan was so excited to meet you and speak with you, because obviously we attract people who are like-minded, who actually are visionaries, such as you. Times like this right now, Eli, it's been very, very tough for many entrepreneurs and speakers who have a great story to share and a great product, of course, that they would like to help people with. Now, how do you stay connected and relevant at a time like this?
These are the best of times. They say the best of times and the worst of times. It all depends on your mindset. You kind of get whatever you focus on. If you think it's the worst of times, it's the worst of times. If you think it's the best of times, it's the best of times. What happens is when you're challenged, you're forced to do things in a way that you wouldn't have done otherwise. You're forced to find new connections, new people, new ways of making a living. And so since the pandemic, lots of great things have come out of this. So, one of my mentors, he always says, if you're not networking, you're not working. And the average person thinks that by networking, they go on Zoom once or twice, or they go to an event, they collect a bunch of business cards, and they think they've done their job. Well, that's just a process. The process is not where the bucks are at. The fortune's in the follow-up. What do you do with those cards? How do you follow up? How often do you follow up? How often are you on the Zoom calls? There's an entire world of people out there that are now stuck to their computers, and they're happy to get on a call with you. They're happy to collaborate. And that's the word I use most right now, collaboration. There are people hungry for collaboration. So give them a formula to collaborate with you, and you'll be getting more business than you ever dreamed of.
So that's really phenomenal. I love that if you're not networking, you're not working, because right now everything is virtual. Do you do mostly virtual, live, or have you basically gone into hybrid?
I do everything I possibly can, all of the above, no excuses. You see, because if you're living on the island of excusitis, if you have that disease, you
Excuse
know,
me.
then you only have yourself to blame. So I have no one to blame because I do everything I possibly can to get the results that I need. And if it doesn't come, I still put my head on the pillow at night and I sleep well because I've done all the things I need to do. Now, what's your definition of doing everything? So I have a live event for 300 people. I got the largest event in New York City
Wow.
happening on August 30th. I'm putting the entire hospitality industry together. No one else will, so I will. So I'm getting everybody who's anybody, and everybody's welcome to be there. And that's a room full of people. If you're not in the hospitality industry, you're going to meet people, 300 people who are movers and shakers in New York City. That's a pretty good crowd to be in front of. So
How
the
do you
question
find
is,
them?
how do I find them? I'm in the industry. I reach out, and if I don't know them, I research them. I connect with them. There's millions of ways to do it. You just have to be willing to put in the effort and the time. So there's just no excuses. I was at an event recently. I had to drive 4 hours to get there. No excuses. But everybody else, well, I don't know if I want to, go that far. Well, I got, there's always reasons not to do something. And you just
It
have to find
reminds me
the
of
reason to do it.
yeah, it reminds me of a quote I believe by Jim Rohn. If you don't find a way, you'll find excuses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
and so you are the up your game motivational speaker, right? And obviously you always think outside of the box. How do you keep outdoing yourself? Because where do you get all of these ideas from? How do you begin to tap into opportunities when you are presented with adversities?
every day I wake up and my goal is to get at least 1% better. There is no groundhog day in my life. In the average person's life, every day is groundhog day. It's the same routine. You get up in the morning, you shove some food down your throat, you grab the coffee, you run out, hopefully you make it in time, you're sweating, you're anxious, oh, am I going to make it there at 9 o'clock? You check out at 5 o'clock, you run back to the transportation, you run back home, you stuff food down your mouth, and it's the same routine every day. And then you don't have time to do the things that are going to improve you because then you got the distractions. You got the Facebook, you got the television, you got this, you got that, you got all the bad news that you get sucked into. It's a choice. You don't need to be sucked into it. It's a choice,
Absolutely.
but
Life
we're
is all about
distracted.
choices.
Yeah, we have
Now,
monkey mind. We're all over the place.
yeah. You know what? There was something about your bio that I also struck me. And this is one of the areas that so many people, so many entrepreneurs actually struggle with: cold calling, sales calls. Can you give us tips on how best to, you know, break through our fear of cold calling?
Yeah, so I am probably if there was a Guinness World Record, I would have it for cold calling. I've made over 30,000 cold calls, and not just a cold call anywhere, but in the meanest streets of the mall, in the mean streets of New York City. And boy, if you have not cold called in New York, then you're in for a rude awakening. So what I did at an early age is I changed my definition of failure. I changed my definition completely because most people are devastated by failure, so that each time they fail, it gives them a reason not to continue to do it. I changed it and I looked at it as a success. Each and every time that I cold called, regardless of the results, I looked at it as a huge success because I patted myself on the back and I said, man, look what I did. I just made another call here. So the results were not my definition. People are so caught up in the results. So, that's when they have a fear of failure, they have a fear of success, and then they back off. So I just, like a battering ram, I just keep going because every time I looked at it as another notch on my belt, look what I did, another call. And eventually you're going to it's a law of averages. If people understood the law of averages, they would keep going. But, like you said, some people just can't handle the failure. So they say it takes 5 to 7 touches just on a sales call just to get to the point where you're going to be able to close somebody. The average person stops after the second or the third. So that everybody's stopping prematurely. I get people that say to me, oh, I contacted you 6 months ago. I didn't hear back from you. Like, how many
What
times
is
did
the
you
frequency?
contacted
What
me
is a good
once?
time frame, what is a good space between calls for a follow up so that they don't feel that they're being hounded?
You know something? If you correspond in a way that's helpful to the other person, then there is no such thing as being hounded. So if you send somebody information that you know is going to help them, rather than for you to be pitching, that's a big difference. So if you researched them and understood that they are interested in a certain charity and you sent them information regarding that charity or somebody who might contribute to that charity, do you think they're going to look at that as a nuisance
Of
and
course
as
not.
being, yeah. So it's in the quality of what you send. People can smell you a mile away that you're looking to sell them and you're interested in a commission. If you make it about them, it's a different story. So there's been research, these people are sending out 365 emails a year. They used to send them out monthly because they thought that they would space them apart. And guess what? 365 days a year proved to be far more effective than once a month. People,
Exactly.
as long as the information that people felt was relevant, they'll, they have an option to opt out and they'll tell you. But as long as you're not a nuisance and you're not banging somebody over the head, uh, I say more is better than less.
Yeah, you know what? I love everything that you're sharing about. First of all, I love the how you redefined all the failures and rejections that we get when we call, because a lot of people take that so personally, and it's like, really, it's not about you. It's about timing. And also, what I love about what you shared is really the more you do it, it's the law of numbers, right? And so the more you do it, the more comfortable you also get. And also, I love the fact that you are saying about being consistent, 365 emails, providing value that is relevant to them.
Yeah, and the key word is them. If it's about you, they'll see through that. They're not there for you; they're there for themselves. So you got to make it about them, and that's where most salespeople go wrong. It's about themselves, and it's about their commission, and you can smell it a mile away.
Exactly. It's about being interested rather than interesting, because oftentimes we show up and we throw up, right? And we are so eager to share what we have to do, that what we do, so that it could change their lives, but we are not connecting how it will best serve their interests and their needs.
Yeah.
That is absolutely phenomenal. Now, right now during COVID, right, there's a lot of people who are just like what you said, maybe making excuses. They're fearful. Now, what would you say to them, for those entrepreneurs that are not quite ready to go, say, for example, virtual or hybrid, and they're used to doing things in person? How can they segue into a hybrid comfortably and shorten their learning curve?
Well, there's no reason not to make a change when whatever you're doing is not working. You have no choice. So if it's fear, then just feel the fear and do it anyway. And that's a classic book that was written by Dr. Susan Jeffords about 30, 40 years ago. And you could read the book, which I recommend, but even if you don't, and if you can internalize the title, what does it really mean? It means that you're not uh, ignoring the fear. You're not even necessarily going to eliminate the fear. You can accept the fear, dance with the fear, and do it anyway. So it's okay to have the jitters. It's okay to have the fluttering heart. It's okay to have the sweating palms. What's not okay is to let that consume you, overwhelm you, and prevent you from reaching the promised land and reaching your destiny. We all have those jitters. Even the greats still have those jitters. The difference between them and the rest is they're willing to feel the fear and do it anyway. So, what's the worst that can happen to you? And the more that you try something, the more you get used to it and the more you're able to overcome it. But if you're going to quit, you're a quitter. And that's not a very good label. So
Yeah.
I'd rather have tried and failed than never to have tried at all. The only thing you'll regret looking back 40 years from now is the things you didn't try. You won't regret the failures. You'll regret that you didn't try.
Yeah, exactly. There's a quote that says that, right? If you haven't failed enough, you have not tried enough.
Yeah.
right? And oftentimes I love how you just basically redefine fear. And I love how you even said dance with fear. And so it becomes really like a beautiful experience rather than something that is actually disempowering, right? And so something like this, like where you are right now, what kind of projects are you looking to do right now or are already working at that could bring also a lot of entrepreneurs new possibilities?
Yeah. So I created the world's best self help mastermind book club. We meet once a month. We look at a book, we read it, we discuss it, we mastermind it, which is based on Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich formula of how to succeed and grow rich. And then we hold each other accountable, which is a biggie because most people, the reason they're not succeeding is there's nobody keeping them accountable. So therefore, they're going to go get the ice cream. They're going to go on Instagram. They're going to go watch the movie. They're going to go get distracted. They're going to spend 3 extra hours, hanging out. Um, so you have to get focus. So your success is only as good as the power of your focus. And how are you going to focus if you don't have somebody holding you accountable? Why do you think all the great athletes and all the great movie stars all have coaches and people surrounding them to keep them focused?
Wow. So how do people get involved in this book club mastermind that you're talking about? Because it sounds amazing.
Yeah, well, people should simply email me. I give everybody what I call the email test. I give them a very simple test. I'm unlike a lot of other people. I'll answer every single email, answer all the questions. So my email is the motivation show at gmail.com. The motivation show at gmail.com. Simply email me, ask me about the book club. Now, what the book club is theoretically set to do is in 1 year fast track you in a way that a Harvard education, a Yale education won't do.
Wow.
Make you not grow old and look back on your life and say, what if? Because we can't help but get you successful. We're reading 12 of the top books ever written, and those books are filled with knowledge and formulas to succeed. Then the only thing left is to mastermind the principles, make sure you're following up with it and engaging in the mastery of the book. And once that happens, you're just going to fast track yourself. There will be no excuses for your success, except if you decide not to participate. And the number one challenge is people's lack of immersion. Success is not a one-time thing. Motivation is not a one-time thing. I have people say to me, Eli, I went to that motivational seminar. I listened to one of your podcasts, but it didn't change me. Well, it's not going to change you. You have to change yourself. You have to immerse yourself. It's just one step in the process of daily immersion. You don't take oxygen one time and you're good for the entire month. It's daily. It's second by second. So you have to constantly put yourself in that mindset, in that mind frame. And you need to have a vision board where you write down things right in front of you so it reminds you where your focus is. You have to burn the boats behind you so you don't give yourself an opportunity to find excuses. Because if there's no boats behind you, guess what? You better get up every morning and you better get on that project.
Oh, first of all, I love that word, immersion. How do you immerse yourself into something so life changing? And that would help you with your emergence, right? It's absolutely beautiful. Now, for somebody to be part, by the way, how many members do you have right now in your book club?
We keep the membership pretty small because I only mention this when I'm on an interview like this for people that I already know are going to be motivated because this self-help and self-improvement is something they're interested in. It's hard to go to people who don't read self-help books or don't listen to podcasts or don't listen to shows, and get them to be engaged enough because they're gonna usually sort of quit somewhere in between. But people who are already hungry, who are already listening to this show, those are the people that I want in the club. So it's rather select. We're not just looking to get everybody and anybody off the street. We want people who are going to stick there, read the books, which is a commitment. That's an immersion. Not everybody's going to read 12 books. Not everybody's going to get on the call. They're going to find reasons not to.
Yeah, so they just have to email you at the motivation show, right?
The
The
motivation
motivation show.
show at gmail.com. And it's going to be the start of something great because opportunity is always in front of you. The question is whether you're hearing the knock. And when you do hear the knock, are you going to let that opportunity go by? Or are you going to jump all over it? The people who succeed in this life jump on the opportunity. They don't hesitate. They don't find excuses. They don't say, I can't afford it. They don't say, I have something else to do. They find a way.
Exactly. And as I said, like looking at your success and looking at the way you look at things, and also the methods that you have created, the successes that you have made, are basically living testaments of what you're teaching, coaching people with, you're motivating people with, can help result in their own successes. So I am actually deeply grateful also for David Fagan for introducing me to you, because he's going to be having a Top Talent JV event next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 16th through the 18th. And it's a free event for people just like you who are totally committed to helping people succeed, and also in personal development and how we can all become resilient. It's not a pitch fest. And that is what I love about events like his, and also like what you do. It's not all about you sharing what you do, but you understanding how you can best support the dreams of others. If, of course, people would love to get to know more about you and follow you, how can they do that?
First thing they need to do is listen to my show, because we bring on people a whole lot smarter than I am, and I'm learning from them every day. So you want to hear who I've interviewed, which are the world's greats in different categories, whether it's something you're looking to overcome your fear, if you're looking to get healthy, or you have a loved one that's not healthy. We're going to give you some tips on how you can overcome that, even cure things that your doctor hasn't been able to cure. You'd be shocked as to the things that exist out there. So just Google The Motivation Show. I'm on every listening platform, The Motivation Show. Follow me on social media. You can get me on Instagram at Eli Marcus Success. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Facebook. Just put Eli Marcus in that search bar, and I'm there for you. And most importantly, send me the email, get the process started, because I only wished that Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, and people like that gave me their email back in the day, where I could have
I know.
corresponded to them.
And you've been
Boy,
so generous to be able to do that, to put it out there. But you obviously will attract the right people who are action takers, who are really committed to their own successes. And I love that you are giving people the platform to be able to do that. Before we close, I'd love for you to share three most compelling tips that people can apply in their lives right now to get motivated to be a better version of themselves.
well, there are lots of people who have paved the path before you. And the number one way, in my opinion, to gain knowledge is to model yourself after other people who've already done it for 40 years. So if you're going to reinvent the wheel, it's going to take you a very long time. So you can do that very simply by buying a $20 book and immersing yourself for a few days or a week in that material. So that's number one. Go out and buy your books or listen to your podcasts. That's why we do podcasts. It's very easy. You're out you should multitask if you have to. You're out running, or if you're on your treadmill, you have your earbuds in and listen to the podcast. Music isn't going to help you get successful. It's going to maybe entertain you, but once in a while you got to listen to the information. So that's number one. Number two, there's so many different organizations and places that you can join. There's business organizations. I belong to the C-Suite Network. That's C-Suite Network. And that's entrepreneurs at a very high level. And so I learned from them all the time. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen. Let other people
Exactly.
talk, sponge it all up. So get there and join, be involved, because the last time manna dropped down from heaven into somebody's lap was how many 6,000 years ago in the Bible, and how often has it happened since? So if you're going to sit back and wait for results, the world just doesn't work that way. So get out there and join things. And number three is you have a decision to make every day. There's 100 things that happen to you. They're not all great. Some of them are very annoying, but you have a choice on how you let them get to you. Some people let the small things get to them. And that's why Dr. Richard Carlson, who I flew to New York back in 1999, wrote a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And then his subtitle was, And It's All Small Stuff. So if you're going to let all the small stuff get to you, it's going to suck the life out of you. It's going to suck the fun out of you. It's even going to create disease in your body. So just stop sweating the small stuff and just roll with all the punches. And I know that's hard to do. I even have challenges with that. But that's the formula, and you got a choice. It is a choice. It's not what happens around you. It's not what happens, to you. It's how you decide to react to it.
Exactly. Life is all about choices. I'm smiling listening to you because I remember before somebody was asking me, right, Furley, you're the type of person who would actually shake the tree and wait for the apple to fall, right? No, I will not shake the tree. I will go up there and make sure
You're,
I
uh,
get
you're, you're. I know you are a climber. Absolutely.
it. Yeah, exactly. So, and I would always, remember the word immersion and think of you because you obviously have, motivated many of us, the viewers right now, to be immersed in their passion, in what they're looking to do to accomplish their dreams in life. And I love how you reminded us to take choices and learn from the geniuses that has come before us so we can shorten our learning curve. So, and I'm learning a lot from you, and I will definitely encourage each and every single person who's listening in right now to reach out to you at the motivation show at gmail.com. Like, if you are the right person to join the book club mastermind, that would be awesome. If not, keep following him on a podcast, listen to Eli, and you would see, you would look at life very, very
Let me
different.
tell you, Furley, in the old days, I flew to Texas and other places, spent a couple of $1,000s to see the great Jim Rohn. I flew to Plano, Texas to do that. So when I'm telling somebody to do something that's far easier for them to do, join something that's going to change their life, I only wish I had that opportunity when I was younger, that somebody presented something on a silver platter to me that can change my life. There is no easy shortcuts. That's the real secret in life. If you're looking for an easy shortcut and you're looking for the lotto, knock yourself out. You're going to be probably waiting a very, very long time. If you're willing
Yes.
to immerse yourself and not be a dabbler and not be a tire kicker, success will be there for you. If you're willing to do things without worrying about perfection, without worrying about the consequence at the end of the day, just get in the game. The law of attraction will start working for you. The universe will bring you the answers. Don't worry about having all the answers up front. Get in the game.
Get in the game. On that note, my goodness, dance with fear, immerse yourself, and and magic will happen. So thank you so very much, Eli, for bringing your light into our world and also illuminating the many possibilities of other people's paths. On this note, thank you very, very much. I would love to have you back again. I certainly would follow you, Eli Marcus. Remember the Motivation Show. Your life is going to change. This is your wake up call. Until next time, this is Furley Almonte from Faces of Resilience. Take care now. Have a terrific Thursday. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.